Miraculous Ladybug has had a lot of ups and downs over the years, and many fans have noticed issues that have made the show feel like it's dragging on, or even changing entirely. Here's a breakdown of some of the biggest problems. 1. The never-ending plot and artificially stretched-out storytelling. When Miraculous Ladybug first aired, it had a simple yet effective structure. Episodic villain fights with an overarching mystery surrounding the Miraculouses and Hawkmoth. This worked for a while, but over the years, the show has relied heavily on delaying important plot points instead of progressing naturally. Adrien and Marinette's relationship, a slow burn gone too far. The love square between Marinette, Adrien, Ladybug, and Chat Noir was the heart of the show's romance, but it has been stretched to the point of frustration. Early seasons played with the idea of them falling for each other in different identities, but after 5 seasons, they only truly got together at the very end of Season 5. However, instead of allowing them to fully explore their relationship in Season 6, new complications and obstacles are being introduced, making it feel like a soft reset of their dynamic. While keeping tension in a romance is important, the way Miraculous does it feels more like stalling rather than natural development. Hawkmoth's villain arc took too long. Gabriel Agreste, Hawkmoth Shadowmoth Monarch, was the main antagonist for 5 whole seasons, yet his motivations remained largely the same throughout. He wanted to bring back his wife, and every episode followed the same structure of him sending out akumatized villains, often over minor inconveniences. It wasn't until Season 5 that he finally became Monarch, gaining full control over the Miraculouses, but by then, his story had already been stretched too thin. Instead of wrapping up his arc earlier, the show prolonged it for seasons by giving him minor power boosts or introducing temporary setbacks. Gabriel finally met his end in Season 5.
It's too late anyway. I can't give up now.
But instead of concluding the story, the show introduced new villains, essentially restarting the cycle all over again. Rather than feeling like progress, it feels like a tact to keep the series running indefinitely. 2. The status quo reset problem, development that goes nowhere. One of Miraculous Ladybug's biggest weaknesses is its reliance on resetting the status quo. No matter how much a character learns, how big a revelation is, or how much a relationship progresses, things always seem to return to a familiar baseline. Marinette's confidence issues, overcoming the same fear repeatedly.
Hello, Marinette.
Ah! No! This morning we're kissing on the cheek.
Okay. But why?
It's for a surprise. For our surprise evening.
Marinette has had multiple episodes about overcoming her shyness and learning to express her feelings. Yet every time she gets close to confessing to Adrien, her fear resets. For example, in Season 3, she showed signs of moving on from Adrien and even dated Luca. In Season 4, she again struggled with her feelings but seemed to gain more confidence. In Season 5, she finally confessed and started dating Adrien, only for new obstacles to appear in Season 6. Instead of progressing naturally, the show finds ways to put her back into the same emotional struggles she had in Season 1, making it frustrating to watch.
She saw me following her! Now she's furious and decided to stop being friends with Adrien and to leave the school! Are you really sure about any of this, Marinette? Yes, but I'm going to fix my mistake! Because if Sublime is no longer friends with Adrien because of me, then Adrien won't love me anymore, and it'll be the end of our relationship and the end of everything!
Adrien's lack of agency. Adrien's character has always been defined by his father's control over him, but despite multiple hints at him realizing how toxic his situation is, he never truly takes action. He has moments of rebellion, such as questioning his father's rules. He starts noticing how emotionally distant Gabriel is. He bonds with Marinette and finds happiness outside of his father's expectations. But even with these developments, Adrien still remains passive, never fully standing up to Gabriel. Even in Season 5, he wasn't the one to defeat his father. Marinette was. Now that Gabriel is gone, the show has introduced new conflicts for Adrien instead of allowing him to finally take control of his own life.
As I was saying, the question that brings us together today is, who will have custody of Adrien now that he's all alone?
But Adrien isn't alone. Mr. Adrien is not alone in having some appetizers, I suppose.
If I may, Lord Graham, I live with Natalie.
She's an employee, not family.
She has no legal right to care for you, unlike us.
Your mother's parents.
3. Character arcs that were abandoned or ruined. Some characters had promising arcs that were completely wasted due to the show's unwillingness to commit to change. Chloe's wasted redemption arc. Chloe Bourgeois was originally written as a spoiled, arrogant bully, but early seasons hinted at the possibility of her redemption. She had moments of vulnerability, especially when she became Queen Bee, and it seemed like she was learning to be a better person.
I've always dreamed of doing this with you. We must work together as a team, all right, Queen Bee? Yes, don't worry. I've been practicing since forever.
However, in later seasons, the writers completely reversed this, making her irredeemably selfish and cruel. In Season 5, she was fully villainized and even disowned by her parents, turning her into a caricature rather than a complex character. Instead of exploring her redemption, the show simply replaced her with Zoe, a nicer version of Chloe, which felt like an easy way out. Lila as the new villain feels forced. Lila, now going by Cerise in Season 6.
Who is this? The war is only just starting. Be ready.
Oh, Cerise, is your movie shoot over?
We didn't think we'd see you again before the end of the school year. Let her think that she's the best. We're not done with her yet.
Was originally a secondary antagonist who lied for attention. While she was manipulative, she never felt like a true replacement for Gabriel as the main villain. Now, with Gabriel gone, she has taken over as the primary antagonist, but her motives feel weaker. She lacks the personal stakes that made Gabriel's villainy compelling, his desire to bring back his wife, and instead, she's just evil for the sake of being evil. Rather than creating a fresh, complex villain, the show is relying on a character who was never built up to be a major threat in the first place.
You won't get rid of me that easily, Monarch.
4. The character redesigns and visual changes feel like a different show. The character redesigns in Season 6 have made the show feel like a soft reboot rather than a natural continuation. Marinette's new hairstyle and model look noticeably different from previous seasons. The superhero suits have been redesigned, with more details and different proportions. The animation style has been tweaked, making it look almost like a new series rather than a continuation. While updating character models isn't necessarily a bad thing, the drastic changes make Season 6 feel disconnected from the first 5 seasons. Many fans feel like they are watching a completely different version of Miraculous, rather than a proper continuation. 5. The show has shifted in tone and lost its original charm. Early seasons, fun, episodic, and lighthearted. When Miraculous first started, it had a fun, Monster of the Week structure with an engaging romance subplot. The akumatized villains were creative, the Miraculous lore was slowly unfolding, and the focus was on Marinette and Adrian's everyday struggles. Later seasons, darker, more complicated, and overstuffed. Now, the show has become much darker, with heavier plot lines, multiple time skips, and more dramatic storytelling. While this isn't necessarily bad, it feels like the series has lost the simple charm that made it appealing in the first place. The romance has become needlessly complicated. The villain plots are dragged out rather than progressing naturally. The once lighthearted tone is overshadowed by constant drama and stakes. Instead of feeling like a satisfying progression, it feels like Miraculous is trying too hard to reinvent itself while still refusing to conclude major arcs properly. Final thoughts. The show needs a proper conclusion. At this point, Miraculous Ladybug feels like it is struggling to keep itself going rather than delivering a satisfying story. The endless status quo resets, the forced introduction of new villains, the unnecessary redesigns, and the tone shift all contribute to making Season 6 feel like an entirely different show. If the series wants to regain its appeal, it needs to focus on actual character development and commit to meaningful change instead of dragging out conflicts indefinitely. Otherwise, it risks alienating the very fans who have supported it for so long. What do you think? Has Miraculous lost its magic, or are you still excited for the future of the series? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss any future deep dives. See you in the next one.